Hello YouTube, it's me Birdie, and this is the last video I'll be filming in this sweater, I promise, because I've filmed a lot of videos in this outfit because I'm trying to get caught up with all of my 2019 reading wrap-ups, my 2020 beginning of the year videos, and all the other videos that I have not caught up on. But right now I'm filming my newest library book haul, even though I have just filmed a library book haul, but finished those books and I got more. I will say though that I still have 2 books from that original round, which is Daughter of the Forest and Son of the Shadows by Juliette Marillier. I have finally read this one. Still haven't touched this one yet, but I still have them out from the library. These are both in the Seven Waters series by Juliette Marillier, which is one of the series that Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts has been raving about in connection to Juliette Marillier, so I wanted to pick them up because I've been fascinated to read her novels. And this is more of her fairy tale-esque story that's set in Ireland. Like I said, I did finally read this first one, but I haven't yet gotten to this one. And yeah, I don't really want to give much away because I think that this will be a great series for me to give a whole series review on when I finally finish them, because I did really enjoy this, even though it was kind of slow to start. But yeah, I do plan on continuing with this series. So yeah, I just wanted to mention these quickly because I did talk about them in my other library book haul. Now, surprise, surprise, I have a Loba Bray book, and that is The Sweet Far Thing, which is the 3rd and final book in her Gemma Doyle's trilogy. I have already read it, and I do eventually plan on making a series review for this, probably sooner rather than later, because I think I want to get this out, or this series review out, before I do one for her Diviners Quartet, which the 4th book is coming out relatively soon, within 8 days, and I'll be rereading the first 3 books, even though I just reread them, and immediately going into the 4th book. So I probably won't get this up before I start reading those books again, but I'll be posting this before that. This is a series set in the late 1800s, around 1890, in London. It's a paranormal fantasy, and I really enjoy this series. I love Loba Bray's writing. She's a new favorite author for me. I love her. The rest of these books I'm kind of putting in priority order. I have Perot and Bus Seats by Agatha Christie. I have already read this. This is the Agatha Christie novel that I skipped by accident when I've been reading her books in publication order. This is a collection of short stories detailing different cases that Hercule Poirot has been on that wasn't described in other novels. And it's kind of just being told by his companion, Hastings. They're okay, they're interesting, but I'm not a fan of short stories as it is. And some of these, one in particular, I wanted more. I wanted a full-length book about, but this isn't a wrap-up. This is basically just another installment within the Hercule Poirot mystery series that Agatha Christie writes, and I just love them. I ate it up very quickly. Next up, we have Only Yesterday, An Informal History of the 1920s by Frederick Lewis Allen. In my top 20 books I want to read in 2020, I mentioned that I wanted to read a nonfiction book about the 1920s, and this was one that my library had. I don't know if this will be the one that I use for that actual list, but I have it, and I'll have achieved it once I read this. This, I think, is a history about the 1920s that was actually written in the 1930s, so it was really close to the time period being discussed, so it will be interesting to see it from that kind of close perspective. But yeah, I'm excited to read about this because I've been so obsessed with the 1920s, primarily because of Loba Bray and her Diviner series. But yeah, I have this one. Also 1920s related, and actually listed in my top 20 books I want to read in 2020, is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Now with this book in front of me, I'll give a better description of it. So this has to do with Mayan gods in the 1920s in Mexico City. That's not a very good description, but basically we follow this woman named Cassiopeia who is a maid at her wealthy grandfather's house during 1920s in Mexico City, and apparently she gets entangled with some ancient Mayan god. That's all I know, and that's pretty much all I really need to know. This has a lot of things going for it that'll make, or I think that I will enjoy from it. 1920s being one, it being connected to an ancient civilization and mythology being the other. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this book here, and I'll hopefully be getting to it soon. Then we have this huge book, which is Chiffon Magic by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the second series within her Realms of the Elderling series, this being the Live Ship Traders trilogy. I really enjoyed the first trilogy, which was the Farseer trilogy, and I had wanted to get to this a lot sooner, but unfortunately I did not, so I'm gonna get to it now. I would like to buy these books because I do enjoy Robin Hobb's writing, but I'm strapped for cash at the moment, and since my library had this book, I was like, I'm just gonna get it from the library and read it, and once I know I like it, I'll just get the books when I have the money to. I really don't know what this is about, other than that it'll be set, I'm pretty sure, on a ship or on the sea. I don't know how it connects to the Farseer trilogy. I don't think we follow any of the characters that featured heavily in that series, but there will be some kind of connection because it is part of the Realms of the Elderling overarching series. I'm just excited to get back into Robin Hobb. I really enjoyed her writing style, and I want to get back into it. So the rest of these books are kind of lesser priority, but I will be getting to them before I return them. The first being Agatha Christie's The Mystery of the Blue Train. This is another Hercule Poirot book and is the next one in publication order by Agatha Christie. I've just been devouring these books. They're so easy to read and get into and finish, so I kind of use it as either when I read alongside a larger, more complicated fantasy, or I use it to break up different fantasy novels. So I'm really interested in getting to this. Then we have Jim Butcher's Stormfront, which is the first novel in the Dresden Files, which is a series I would like to start getting into. I think it's a fantasy mystery series, and I'm hoping that this can kind of work like Agatha Christie's novels in being a kind of separator between larger fantasy novels, even though this is quite long itself. I mean, it's 352 pages, so not as long as a lot of the books that I read, but still kind of long. But I do want to try Jim Butcher's writing and see if I enjoy it. And if I do, I have, I think, like 15 books in this series that I can get to look forward to reading. So then I picked up Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shannon McGuire. Even though I read Every Heart a Doorway and didn't really like it, I want to give it a second chance before I definitively say I don't want to read it. Also, these books are small, so I can get through them hopefully quickly. So yeah, don't really know much about this. I feel like we follow Jack and Jill in this book, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it. I'm just kind of using this as another like filler book between my more anticipated larger fantasy series. Then we have this huge book, which is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This is the first book in his Expanse series, which is a science fiction series. I don't know much more about that, but I always say that I love science fiction, but I don't read a lot of it. The only science fiction I continuously read are dystopians, and I feel like that's not representative of the genre more widely. It's like a very niche specific subgenre within science fiction, so I kind of want to see if I actually like science fiction as a whole, or if it's rather just the subgenre of socio-political commentaries that includes dystopians. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I love, for some reason, the spines of these. They always grab my attention when I'm in bookstores and they make me want to read them. but I have no idea what it's about. So this will be interesting to get to. The next is The Anomaly by Michael Rutger. When this first came out, I was very intrigued to read it because I think it has something to do with archaeology. It's a thriller that has to do with archaeology, but apart from that, I don't really know what it's about. I don't really read thrillers often, but it's kind of a genre that I've been dipping my toes into, and because it deals with archaeology, which is a topic I'm fascinated by, I figured I might like this one, so we'll see. I don't know when I'll be getting to this because it is, again, not a high priority, but I'm very interested in reading it. And finally, we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I had mentioned this in my 20 books I want to read in 2020 because I think the 4th or 5th book in this series is being released in 2020, and because this is apparently a dystopian novel, although I feel like it's going to be like a fantasy novel with dystopic elements rather than a true classic dystopian novel, so I'm still intrigued to see how it uses those dystopian elements. Other than that, I don't really know much about this, and I kind of want to go into it blind, but yeah. So those are all the books that I borrowed from my library this time around. If there are any that you are interested in reading, please let me know, and maybe we can read them together. If not, you can leave your comments about these books down below. If you like them, didn't like them, think I'll like them or not. I'd be interested to hear about them, but please don't spoil anything for me about these books. You can leave any spoiler or more in-depth discussion for my wrap-up because you should expect them from me within the next couple of months. Hopefully it won't go past February, but I think it might go a little bit into March. But anyway, within the next couple of months, I'll be reading these books. So yeah, you can talk to me about them then. So let me know again if you have any thoughts on these books that are not spoilery, and if you want to read them with me. So yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.